Hey, what's up guys? It's Marf and welcome back to another Asphalt 9 video. A couple days ago, the second Drive Syndicate event ended, and I wanted to just kind of give myself a couple days to think about the event and kind of go over and what we got and what other people are saying about it. If you haven't seen it already, Furum actually uploaded his thoughts, and I really enjoyed his video, so you can check that out on his channel. But today I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts and kind of a review as well of the second Drive Syndicate event. Now, of course, we know that there's going to be another one in the future, whether it's for another car or specifically the 1896 that has a key, which is the best A-class car. We don't know, but there's probably going to be another Drive Syndicate event soon, or at least in the future. So, first off, let's get this out of the way. It was definitely better than the Jesco Drive Syndicate event. Overall, I think a lot more people got the Remac than they did the Jesco. So overall, I think it's definitely an improvement over the first Drive Syndicate event. So I'm very happy that that is the case here, but there are a couple of things that I did want to say. So first of all, just going over how it is better. I spent 22,000 tokens to get the Jesco only at 2 stars during the last Drive Syndicate event, and for that I also only got the other cars at 1 star, like the 812 Superfast and the Genti Aquilon, except for, of course, the Janetta. I think you needed a 4-star Janetta for the Jesco. However, for the Remac event, of course, if you bought all of the relays, I think that was about 5,000 tokens, you actually got all of the supporting cars at 3 stars. So the Corvette, the Shelby, and the Fury you got at least 3 stars. If you got the Remac or not, if you made it that far, you definitely got 3-star cars, which was, a really good deal, I guess, if you want to call it. I mean, for 5,000 tokens, it was much better than the almost 22,000 tokens that, well, actually over 22,000 tokens that I spent on the Jesco, only to get 1-star 812 Superfast and a 1-star Genti Aquilon. But going over the negatives, I definitely agree with Furum with a couple of points that he mentioned in his video. First off was that the paywall was very, very early. If you wanted to really get a jump start in this Drive Syndicate event, you needed to buy the first 2 relays for unlocking and I believe 2-starring the Fury, and for new players especially, that's really daunting to spend. I think it was only 1,500 tokens, but even so, for new players that might be a lot of tokens. So I really would have liked it if the paywall happened later on. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a very small paywall considering the amount that, like I said, you had to pay for the Jesco, but nonetheless, I think it was just too soon right off the bat. Again, it's more or less a minor complaint because I think the majority of the people who were interested in at least going fairly far in this event were already aware of the paywall and just kind of like went with it anyway. But again, for new players, it would have been nice to see that paywall later on in the event. So the other big real complaint I have was that we should have been able to buy Syndicate coins for tokens with this event, especially because of how the situation happened with Regnant Octopus 4 and the fact that you needed to upgrade a 3-star Remac with Syndicate coins, and it was just depending on your luck whether or not you needed to actually grind out Regnant Octopus 4 using the hazard level 1 and 2 races, or if you got lucky and were able to upgrade your 3-star Remac to just play the hazard level 3 missions all the way through. Now, in my case, I had to grind either it was 200 hazard level 2 races or 400 hazard level 1 races. I actually grinded that. Now, luckily for a lot of people, it was during winter break if they're at school or something like that. So for, I guess, a lot of people, it really wasn't that big of a deal, but the grind was crazy. I definitely think that if something like this happens again, maybe that should have been reduced to like maybe 100 races, because 200, especially with that 6-hour refill time, is definitely crazy, and 400 races at that hazard level 1 is pretty crazy as well. I think that grind was just definitely too much, especially if you already made it that far in the event. You shouldn't have to grind at the last part. It should be rewarding, not infuriating. So I think the grind should just be lessened, but also you should have been able to buy Syndicate coins with tokens if you wanted to skip that grind. It wasn't just based off luck. You should have been able to just buy your way through it, like what you did basically with the Jesco event. So yeah, that was kind of a bit weird to see that. Like, I don't know why Gameloft wouldn't want me to spend more tokens, so kind of confusing, but you know, it is what it is. Again, overall better than the Jesco event. But last but not least, I just kind of want to talk about the Rimac itself and how I'm just kind of underwhelmed with its performance. Yes, the acceleration is good and the top speed is, well, kind of up there with the S-Class cars, but I don't think it's going to dethrone the Chiron. I think a lot of people feel that way, especially for tracks like Himalayas and all that sort of stuff. And the handling, from what I can tell, just isn't that great when compared to like the Jesco, the Regera, and the Chiron. So I don't think it's a king. Maybe if people get it at like 5 or 6 stars, which I believe someone did, then maybe at that performance, then maybe it beats the Jesco or the Chiron. But at 3 stars, which is what most people got it at, I don't think it really is going to be the king. It's a good car, but definitely not worth the grind that most people had to do, in my opinion. So kind of disappointed in the Rimac. Let me know what you guys think of the Rimac. Did you get it? What, you know, how many stars did you get it at? And are you underwhelmed with it, or do you like the performance? So yeah, that is my thoughts on the second Drive Syndicate event. Again, I think it's much better than the Jesco event, but we'll definitely have to wait and see if Gameloft make the Drive Syndicate events even better in the future. And yeah, so thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in the next video.